Okay. Every time I go to make a video, I sound like a dickhead. I sound condescending. I don't even sound like myself. I'm really struggling with it. So what I've thought to do is come outside, pull out one of the really old emergency cigarettes, give it a red hot shot, and just get my message out. Because I realised I was sitting in my room and I was writing to this guy who's like, my wife got what was he saying? It's lit. My wife got, I don't know. But anyway, he was deflecting, passing the buck, saying, you know, my wife said I was an abuser, and the person who agreed I was an abuser was a psychologist that was only ever met over the phone. And I was like, trying to say it really nicely to him. You know, have you thought about healing? You know, like, so people don't get that perception or aren't even able to build that perception. The wife could be an outright liar, but I think it had something to do with kids. And no woman actually doesn't want the father to be involved in bringing the kids up. Like, they're imperative to the children's growth, success. Like, the father's got to be in the picture. People will put up with dunces just to make sure that the child has that solid father figure. It's so important. So important. So I don't really understand why there would be a woman trying to cut him out. And, you know, like, it all just seemed a little bit contrived to me. And also because I know from my ex, he seems to have wanted to turn the whole situation around on me in the end. Like, it's difficult to describe, but I'll see if I can bring up what I was looking at here. And I'm just going to talk because there have been so many blocks. Anyway, to me speaking, that I don't care. I'm just going to keep talking and putting it up. Now, what if she told this professional what happened and the words she described you, as in when she described you, is equal to what the psychological assessment of how your ex felt you treated her was, say, abused? Which you think is crazy. But if you're getting a divorce, I mean, there's probably a lack of respect. I do know that I got my ex to stop punching me in the eye. Like, I stopped getting black eyes when I turned around and said, no, I'm coming with you to your mother's. I'm going to admit how shit we both are, that I got you to do this to me, and that you can't control your anger, and neither can I, clearly, because I put you in a position where you felt that that was the only thing you could do. Like, I'm going to admit who we are. I want to admit who we are. And I would have. And I would any day today if I was ever put in that situation again. A, refused to let me, you know, go make it public. But I hid it. I hid black eyes for years. Why? Because I was ashamed. Because I knew that I was part of it. I'm not going for victim blaming here. I'm going for action creates a reaction. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle when you're in that. But I guess just this poor guy, I'm not going to send it. I'm not going to send what I was going to write, but it could help him. But because, like, if he needs to heal to see his children, or this guy. I mean, my ex can see his children. I've got no problem with my ex. I think, and some information that I've heard more recently really indicates that I'm on the right track. There's between divine feminines and divine masculines and divine unions that we're supposed to be. I'm not the only one out there who's come up short. Like, there really has been some interference on a bigger scale. Like, I'm not alone. I know that there are thousands of divine unions across the world that got interfered with by, I mean, narcissists, like an entity taking control of the divine masculine, causing addiction problems, sex addiction, a lot of narcissistic traits. And it's left divine masculine, or these divine masculines, as they're kind of coming out of the coma of what they've done in the last few years. And this is going on what the Lyran witch was saying, and it really confirmed it for me. And a lot of the stuff I've been writing, I've been writing for so long and I haven't been speaking. But I have books. When the tears roll down, 'cause it's the world I know, and it's the world I love. I love this song. Anyway, basically, the person in the relationship, whether it be divine feminine or divine masculine, that went and really freaking turned and became an enemy to somebody who thousands of years ago, was it thousands? I don't know, but these souls, they know each other. Like, you don't know how, you don't know why. Like, many of these divine connections that were, they won't be getting back together. I remember saying to my ex, you gotta repeat. I don't have to. I ain't coming back. I'm not doing this again. But, I mean, I won't. I know who he's been to me. I know the pain that I've been through, but it's like the phoenix. But I know I've been the phoenix before in other lifetimes. But if he hadn't have done it, I wouldn't be as strong as I am right now. And I wouldn't be able to do what I've got to do. It's really weird, the energies of this year being brought forth, that we're starting to be able to access Akashic records from other planets and things like that. It's been overwhelming. And I get blocked by people who are close to me in speaking. Like, I can't speak. I sound like honestly, if I played you, if I put on 2 of my last recordings, I don't sound like myself. I sound so impersonable. I couldn't put them on. Anyway, moving forward, this is going to be a bit might have to piece it together later. But basically, these divine partnerships have really suffered. And it's all against, what is it? We fight not against flesh and blood, we fight against principalities. And it's really true. I don't want to say that I've been a victim, but yeah, man, I've been very much attacked by the establishment in shutting up. But you can't keep a good woman down forever. You can keep trying. Like, if I hadn't have actually gotten that on record when my phone apparently rang somebody, if you have a look at my Facebook page actually, or my TikTok, or and I've got about 12 months worth of evidence of just being messed with. Like, most people would not have mentally been able to come out of it, because it's been pretty intense warfare. But when I think about my life, like the warfare that I've sustained, or the way I've been treated majority of my life, the rejection has been intense. Like, and people just not wanting to give you your flowers, or I wonder, this is going to be so windy, you're even going to be able to hear my words, but that would be how it goes at the moment, you know? Create up a storm, you know? Make sure you can't hear me. Make sure I don't get heard. I'll speak louder. But, I mean, my whole life, I had, so I'm one of the master numbers, which has potential. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. It means you've got the potential to be something, but it doesn't mean you're going to live it out, you know? But since I was younger, like, oh, I won't show that because I did say her name on it, but like, she did my numerology and she found I was a number 3, definitely a number 3. And I got told, you know, I was, you know, either, oh, what does it matter if I say it anyway, a master number 11. So I did my own, and yeah, every time I do it, it comes up to a 11, you know, and I got told by this old witch that I went to see when I was younger that I was a 2, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, like, just the disrespect across my life has been pretty intense. Like, I will tell people information and then I get it. I don't know if she does it just to shit me, but me mother will say, oh yeah, I heard on the TV this, or I heard from your brother's wife that this, and so she believes it when it's, but I go, but I told you that 3 months ago. What? Oh, you believe it now because you heard it from, like, it is just to fuck with me. And when I speak about it, look, I speak about it, I realize that it is just to fuck with me. Oh, you'll love them. It's growth. It's all growth and expansion. So, basically, I had a chart done when I was about 20. I didn't have much respect for myself back then anyway, but the respect that I got in this was just bullshit. Actually, the respect I've gotten a lot of my life has been bullshit. It's just, I'm sure, like, the condescending way I get spoken to in this is just equivalent of what it's been my whole life. That's why I turned into the class clown, or, you know, like, I'd get up in the middle of science and just sing, big spandau, spend a little time with me. I mean, it's because I knew the song words. But it says you need mental stimulation, so study. Short courses are good for you because you may get bored of long courses. Like, I'm doing a psychology degree, love. In social situations, you may be considered witty, funny, friendly, clever, and amusing. You may hide behind humour this way, act as a cover-up when panic sets in. What the fuck? You may speak your mind, but I'm sure you can charm your way out of any hot spot you get yourself in. You may be a quick thinker, be careful about jumping to conclusions. Like, she was that kind of bitch anyway, but I could imagine that for other people that she wrote for, that she actually had respect for, she wouldn't speak in this tone. You know what I mean? Like, it's an asshole tone. But, as I say, from anyone that I don't know, doesn't come from where I come from, that's how I cop it. I get disrespected, walked over, and the way I dealt with it, as like I got chased with a machete by a child. So as a child, I would get bullied at home, and then I would go to school and be the bully. And if anybody looked like a threat to me, I'd be a bigger threat to them than they could be to me, because I was just scared. I was just scared. Like, one of the bigger bullies at school, that girl ended up being scared of me because I you know, I acted like I was the bigger threat, when really I wasn't. No, maybe I was. There'd be plenty of people from high school that say they've got trauma from me. A bully's only a bully from deep insecurity. And when you have a look at, you know, the way I get spoken to and treated, was like, duh. Yes. No respect. And I could do without that. Like, this is pretty imperative. This is what I wanted to actually read out, and I think once I've read it out, I'll feel different. And it's interesting that he's gone, let it all out. These are the things I could do without. Like, yeah. I mean, my life is just, it's just a soundtrack of perfection. I don't have the papers, do I? The ones I needed. That's how I'd do it. Anyway, I would also like it noted that any negativity that I am speaking right now is merely for the removal of it, and not to solidify it. What I'm actually trying to do is transmute it. But if I don't talk about it and I don't express it, I'm not going to be able to let it go. And yeah, some say get a therapist. But if you actually have a look at, well, actually I don't want to cause the principalities any more anger towards me, or the establishment wanting to attack me in any way, but mental health isn't covered very well overall in this world. I mean, clearly, as you can see with me. No, I'm kidding. This is called alchemy. And once you're through the alchemization, you can be okay with it. But at the moment, I'm a mess with it. I'm upset. And if I'm brutally honest, I've been wronged. I've been wronged. But I don't want to be a victim. I'll tell you something really, really cool. About a month ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I posted something saying this is alchemization of emotion, because I heard this song and it was like a Tool. No, I wasn't that lucky. I wasn't going to see Tool. It was, anyway, it was the alchemy of emotion. And then I get in the ex's car and he's playing that song and he's like, I know. And I was like, what? And I said, I love this song and I love this band. And I truly felt it. But previously, when I was hearing that song, but this is before healing, this is before alchemy of emotion, I was hearing that song and I missed the concept. He wrecked it for me, he cheated on me. did this, and I couldn't go because he was hooking up with some chick at the bar. And he was. Like, I just shouldn't have been in a relationship with him. It wasn't anything. But he just had a lot of healing to do himself. Like, to need to be wanted by so many women and keep me there as well was a bit much. But I mean, it's good to have a living maid, I guess. Like, I get it. But he sees it as he was doing me the favour. But I look back and say, but hang on. My value was like a living chef, $80,000 a year. Although he's a really good cook, but I always had to do the shopping. I always paid the bills. I always did his washing. He claimed that I would steal money out of his pockets. Nah, I didn't. But whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever picture you've got to paint there to elevate yourself above someone else and not give them kudos for what they did for you. Honestly, he would come home. Oh, I can't say that, but he wasn't interested in me. He was interested in everybody else. He'd rather put out for a prostitute than put out for me. Like, but it built me. Like, I think I may have been, what do you call it? One of those ones that devotes themselves to God, like a nun. I did take it or leave it. I really couldn't care about that aspect. If I'm in love with someone, yeah, but if not, no, it's just... Anyway, moving forward. I've been gaslit since I was young because I'm a Pisces moon. If you have a look into Pisces moons, they feel, see, and know everything. But it lends itself to gaslighting because who knows that? And who also has the right to know anything like that? No, of course you're not right. No, I wasn't just thinking you're an absolute dickhead. No. How the fuck did they know? I was thinking, oh God, how embarrassing. You know, like, no, nobody should even have that kind of information. So it makes you feel crazy. It makes, I don't know, apparently untrustworthy. You know, you can't trust yourself. There go all my papers. I love that. Would have put something on it if I wanted to keep them. I don't have the papers I wanted though. Look, I'm going to wrap this one up now because it's really good. I'm glad I have spoken about it. I didn't get to finish my car story though, did I? Just one quick one. I think I really spun him out, and when I was singing that song, I was so happy to hear the song, but I'm sure he played it to trigger me, but it just didn't. I just really wanted to reiterate, like, I've got a course up on my website at the moment. It's like exceptionally cheap for what it walks you through, like getting you from an alchemical process of being absolutely distressed and broken over something to alchemizing the emotion behind it, and then being in that exact same scenario, but you feel differently to the situation. You know what I mean? You can say, yeah, that happened. That happened with me in that song or that band and that guy. Yeah, it really broke me at the time, but yeah, I'm kind of over it now. You know what I mean? Whereas 2 months previous and 2 plays of that song earlier, the first time I heard it when I was healing, I was furious. I wasn't furious when I spoke about it on the YouTube vid, but I was, you know, I was pretty upset. But I knew I was alchemizing the emotion. And it was when, hey, you must watch my videos, so hey, even if it's just you and me here, know that I forgive you. And I understand that it's something bigger than all of us. Although you can't. But everyone can change. So am I. Anyway. The fact of the matter is, it didn't trigger me. I actually enjoy the song again. I enjoy the band again, and I will find joy again. I'm not going to allow everything that I got put through or I put myself through in a relationship that was a non, like it shouldn't have been. There were too many people against it. Particularly, interestingly enough, because it has happened to thousands of these couples worldwide, because we do live in this fallen realm type thing. If one of the divine union didn't have access to all their past history, I knew instantly when I laid my head on this guy's chest and I heard his heart beating and I recognized him. The night we met, I had been out and I think we were all on ecstasy, but it did take me to, we were in our 20s. We were in our 20s. We were partying. We were having fun. And I met him after we'd been out partying. But when I laid my head on his chest, I recognized him and I said, "Get up, get up." And he stood up and I said, "Yes, and you're tall." And he's like, in his mind, he saw it as I was like, "Yeah, and you're the right height, you'll do." Because he repeated it to me years later, and I was like, "No, I was stoked that, you were perfect. And you were even the perfect height." And I was wearing high heels because I'm pretty tall myself. And yeah, I was just checking. But it wasn't like a "you'll do." It was like I waited all my life for him, And either he didn't believe it was true, or he just didn't want it. We all go through trauma when we're younger. And these divine counterparts from previous lives that have been together in this life, I think they both went through severe trauma. But it was interesting, the Lyrian witch who Solara spoke of. You've got to check out these chicks on YouTube. All right, I don't speak to them, but they speak. They're incredible. I've looked at some of their work and just gone, wow. They're just saying it how it is, what's happened, and we're not alone, but you've either healed from the trauma that happened to you when you were younger, and there's one that hasn't, or hasn't even attempted to, or is still running from it. But if they don't heal if you don't heal, you can't be better. Blah, blah, blah. I'm cutting this at probably 28 minutes. I'll delete this last part because it's a bit I don't know the rights to the music. But I'm still scared to be seen. I'm sick of being injected. But I don't give a fucking. Sorry for swearing. But I don't care. I got heaps of shit to say. And it's probably only for my benefit. but I know what my purpose is here. Power of love is here now. I do not own the rights to the music. This is me.